Hey everybody, welcome back. Now we finally have the newest release from the Star Wars Retro Collection in hand. So we got the box set to complete the first 12 figures. So this is a 6-pack with C-3PO, R2D2, ObiWan Kenobi, Death Squad Commander, a Jawa, and a Tuscan Raider. So I just received these from Hasbro Pulse. It was really well packaged, really quickly shipped. So I give them props for the release of this item. It came up online right when they said it would on May the 4th. It was a lot cheaper than on Shop Disney, and they shipped within that same day. I got a notification that it was in the mail. So the box looks really nice. It looks very similar to the first 6 that was released last year. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of get into these. So of course we have the droids. We have both R2D2 and C-3PO. The Death Squad Commander, Tuscan Raider, which they did change the naming on the card back from Sand People. We have a Jawa, and of course Ben or Obi-Wan Kenobi. So we'll slide those down so we can see them all. So all the card backs, they are unpunched. However, they are a little flimsier than the first 6-pack that we got, which is a little disappointing. I was hoping that the thicker card backs would be kind of a mainstay of this line, and unfortunately it looks like it's not going to be that way. It's a little flimsier. However, all of my card backs, I got 2 packs of these. I opened both just to kind of see how the card backs look. I wanted to make sure I opened the ones that maybe were dented, but all of them looked really nice, so that was a pleasant surprise. So we'll go ahead and unbox Obi-Wan Kenobi first and check him out. Okay, so here is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now of course he has the retractable blue lightsaber. Should slide up. It's a little bent. See if we can get it to slide up into his forearm. There we go. Just need a little help. Does fit there, and then hopefully coming out should be a little easier. There we go. Now, again, one thing with this figure is just thinking similar to the prototype Mandalorian figure that we just got, where it's got the gray cape. You could use that to use on other vintage figures. This one I could see people doing the old, trim it down for a Jawa just to give it that vinyl cape look, since we did not get the vinyl cape version of the Jawa. This is a lot cheaper and probably more accurate looking than, you don't want to trim down a vintage Obi-Wan Kenobi cape. So kind of a fun way to customize your collection, but they did use the white-haired version of Obi-Wan. So, there are multiple different little kind of paint apps or whatever of the vintage figures. This is actually pretty similar to the one that I have. So this is the vintage one here. So paint apps look pretty close. The skin color of the retro collection looks maybe a little more orangish than peach colored. So, but overall very close. The robe color, again, maybe a little more reddish brown than maybe orangey brown of the vintage, but overall looks really nice. The cape feels almost identical. This one, the older one, maybe is a little shinier. Yeah, it looks really nice. So figure number 1, we're off to a good start. Alright, our next figure is the Jawa. So again, we got the cloth cape version of the Jawa. And he does look pretty well detailed underneath. He's got his little shoulder straps there. Now, the one thing that I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with for this one is he holds his little blaster the correct way. We had seen some shots of these, just the promotional shots where they're kind of holding it from the stem of the rifle. but it does fit pretty well. I mean, it's not going to fall out, maybe not perfect, but yeah, so that's a nice surprise. And again, comparing to the vintage, so again, the paint apps, I mean, they're going to vary just depending on what you get, but you can see the vintage. This is really the only way I can get him to hold any sort of rifle, so it's nice to kind of have that correction. So again, just kind of comparing colors. Now some of this might be, fading or whatnot, but maybe a little more kind of reddish brown of the retro collection. The cloth itself feels similar enough. They actually did a really good job recreating that. So again, I give them props. These so far so good on these figures. So I would have loved to have a vinyl cape version. I think they'd be really smart to maybe release like, limited edition or special Target exclusive, whoever, of some of the variations that we had in the vintage collection. So I would love to get a vinyl cape Jawa for the retro collection. So again, that one looks really good. Okay, so next up we're going to look at the Tuscan Raider. So again, the one kind of neat thing I think that they updated, I believe, I'm not sure if all versions, but I do believe the at least normal Star Wars card back version of this was Sand People. I'm not sure if maybe on the Return of the Jedi card back, maybe they had updated it to Tuscan Raider, but either way, I think that's kind of a fun update. They definitely created more kind of a culture and background for these characters in the Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian. So I think they should be called by their actual name. So again, really nice detail on this whole wave so far. I love how this figure looks. He holds his gaffy stick really well. The cape looks and feels really nice, feels very similar to the original vintage ones. And all of just the kind of molding looks really nice. So again, we'll compare. So maybe darker brown paint versus this one has a little bit more of a light brown feel to it. The head sculpts look very similar, and like I said, the capes feel, you could tell the difference. I think the new capes maybe are a little thicker, but similar enough to where it's just on a display shelf. Looks really nice. So looks great. Okay, next up we have the Death Squad Commander. Pretty simple, basic figure here, but again, I love getting different Imperials in the line. Some of this may have been also used on the Tarkin figure. I'd have to do a side-by-side comparison, but he looks pretty nice. Not much to say about him other than that it's pretty dang close to the original here. So again, some of the molding is a little softer than the original, but he does come with that same blaster that we get with the Stormtroopers and all that. So this one looks good. Again, like I said, nice to have other Imperials to kind of line up with Vader and Tarkin and all that. So yeah, looks good. All right, now we'll get into the droids. I know everyone's waiting to see how these two look. Okay, next up for the droids, we have C-3PO, and of course, and this is even on the box, it's that vac metal finish, and it just looks really nice. He has got some super shine on him. Just looks really great. So you can see, and this is a pretty, a vintage one that's in really good shape, and just the shine is pretty much identical. This one's obviously a little brighter, but just looks awesome. Really excited about this one. Now, the one fun thing that people have been discovering this, I don't believe this was announced or marketed at all, but this is the removable limb version of him. So I believe everything comes off, even his head, and then just snaps right back in. Hopefully his head is as well. We'll figure this out here. Yeah. So comes totally apart, all the removable limbs. You can see that, and then should just snap right back in. So, you know, it kind of gives me a little bit of hope that maybe they will release this one on a Return of the Jedi card back or Empire card back as well. That would be a lot of fun. So we'll just kind of see what they do. I don't really know what their plans are for the retro collection. So, but this is just a really great figure. Looks awesome. All right, we'll get into my personal favorite, R2D2. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning. So this wave does have the thicker blisters than the original 6. And that was a change they made. I think they did that for that initial 6 where it was the real thin, kind of original sized blisters. And then they immediately, starting with the Empire Strikes Back wave, they went to the thicker blister that is similar to the Vintage Collection type. And they've stuck with that for every release since then. So it wasn't surprising to me that they stayed with that change. Some people were caught off guard by that. So just wanted to mention that before I break this last one open. All right, here's the last of the set. We have R2D2, and I mean, this thing just, again, the vac metal on top looks great. They used, I know that the originals, they had a couple different colors of blue. I don't know which version this would kind of fall in line with. It looks almost a little teal to me, but I know there were some that were a lot more kind of greenish teal than others. So let me know in the comments if you know kind of what color this is the most similar to, which version. But probably the most fun thing for me is just looking at the sticker, because it is so hard to find an R2, a vintage R2 with a good, clean, bright white sticker. This one just looks awesome. So again, we'll compare to the original. So I think this R2 is in great shape, but I mean, it just looks really yellow compared to this retro collection one now. So definitely can't set these side by side, but pretty much identical. Looks really good. Just such a fun wave. I think this might be my favorite wave of figures so far. I love getting the droids. I do hope we get a R5 now that we have kind of the template for that from R2. I would love to see that added to the retro collection in a Mando wave or something like that. So let me know what you guys think about this wave. I am very pleasantly surprised with really the whole experience. The only thing that I'd maybe complain about is how long we knew about this set before it went up for order. But the order process was easy, shipping was quick, and these figures were just outstanding. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to the channel if you made it this far watching my review. Go ahead and subscribe, and that way you can be up to date with all of our toy reviews. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.